Fannie Mae keeps losing. You just keep paying. The bailed-out mortgage giant just posting another huge quarterly loss, and now it is asking Uncle Sam for another $8.5 billion. That's on top of the $88 billion the taxpayers have already shelled out. Dan Mitchell of the Cato Institute says enough. But Dan, I think you and I have chatted about this. Every request for cash along the way. I guess we keep giving it, but what do we get for it?
We're not getting anything for it. This is part of the ongoing bailout of Fannie and Freddie. Now, if you want to be optimistic, you can view this as sort of water under the bridge. We made a decision to bail them out, and we need to sort of play out that process, all the people who have Fannie and Freddie securities and things like that. But here's my problem. We're not getting rid of the underlying problem. Imagine if every time you had a beer, you went out and stole a car and robbed a bank. Wouldn't the solution be not to give you beer anymore? What we should be doing with Fannie and Freddie is shutting them down. If we want to bail out all the people who Fannie and Freddie owe money to, I don't like that. But I'm much less worried about that than the fact that we're not putting a stake through the heart of these giant money-losing catastrophes, Fannie and Freddie, that played such an integral role, along with the Fed, in causing the entire financial crisis.
I think we realize that we're in hock to these guys so deep, we can't afford them to go out of business. So they know our number. They know that as much as congressmen and women whine about it, that what do these guys control? What, about 9 out of 10 U.S. mortgages? They've got us by the neck here.
Well, but they don't have us by the neck. The mortgage markets would work just fine without Fannie and Freddie. We don't want the government to reinflate the housing bubble. That's how we got in trouble. But here's the problem. Barack Obama, Barney Frank, and a lot of people in key positions of power were some of the biggest beneficiaries of campaign contributions from Fannie and Freddie. And I'm afraid that that's causing them to not exactly put the best interest of the American taxpayer first in their mind when looking at what do we do now that we have this meltdown.
No, I agree, Dan, I agree with that. But I also think that they fear, and I think it, as you do, that it's not a genuine fear, that with so many mortgages attached to Fannie just alone, that disentangling that would be a Herculean task and a messy task. And the better part of valor is just keep giving them money like you would give drugs to a pusher.
If that's what happens, and this was my analogy earlier in the interview about this is water under the bridge and we're just paying off the ongoing bailout costs in the same way that, you know, if you did something really dumb on your credit card, you might be paying it off over a period of years. If that's all that happens, I'll actually be happy. But what concerns me is that we're not shutting down Fannie and Freddie. And that means the next time we get into this cycle of housing prices going up again, Fannie and Freddie will be there, you know, sort of manning the bellows and getting the thing inflamed, and we'll just go through the same mess all over again. We don't ever learn in Washington that when government intervenes in a market, bad things happen.
Well, we don't, do we? Dan, thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Dan Mitchell over at the Cato Institute.